Hello everyone, this is Lance090 and welcome to my opinion segment. This time we're going to talk about the console wars. The footage that I'm using for this is just TF2, this is called Death Run, you just avoid traps. I figured I'd use this mode because I don't have to focus too hard on it. So hopefully it won't distract me too much. Probably still will a little bit, but we'll hope not. Yep, I already died. But, yeah, we're gonna talk about the console wars, and I'm actually gonna start where no one has been paying too much attention to lately. Everyone's focus has been on Microsoft and Sony, but we're gonna start with Nintendo. Because I think their absence from this fight makes them the most interesting to talk about, actually. Nintendo is just staying out of the fight, as you can tell. They've completely not getting involved in it. They've didn't even have a conference at E3. They just sent in a video where the other two did have conferences. No one's really sure what they're doing. I guess they're just trying to avoid trouble, but the Wii U isn't selling very well. And I think that with this conflict between Sony and Microsoft, this would be their chance to move in and get some more fans or something. But the Wii U isn't selling very well. I don't know exactly how it's doing. But compared to last generation of consoles, they were doing the best at first. The Wii was getting huge profit per sale of the console compared to the other two. Microsoft was only getting a very little amount per console. It was like 5 to 20 per console. And Sony was actually losing money per console because it was too overpriced and just not enough people were buying it. But now Nintendo's the one that's not doing very well this time. I'm not sure what they're doing, and no one else is either. They would probably be best off if they got out of the console race entirely and started being a game producing company. Go the path of Sega. Because where Nintendo excels is with its characters and its IPs. If they were to make those multi-console instead of being Nintendo only, I think they'd be getting a lot more money. But yeah, I don't know. No one's really sure what they're doing. The Wii U was not a good idea. The screen on a controller was tried before with the Sega Dreamcast, and we know how that went with Sega. That was their last console. Basically, the problem is when you're playing a game, you don't know if something that you need to do is going to appear on the controller or if it's going to appear on the screen. Like I heard that was a big problem with Zombie U is it's hard to know what screen to look at the right time, and I could see that being very annoying. I don't have one myself, but I can imagine it be. And the other problem with Nintendo is they're a couple generations behind on graphics now. The Wii wasn't very much of an improvement on the graphics of the GameCube, and the Wii U isn't very much of an improvement on the graphics of the Wii. So that puts it 2 generations behind. It's I heard that they fought tooth and nail to make the new console, the Wii U, not even be HD. As you know, the Wii doesn't have HD connectors on it. They wanted to keep staying standard def, which is just silly. But that's a really big problem, and to me, that's a deal breaker for that console. Scares me away from Nintendo entirely. Not that, not that graphics make a game. Obviously, I really like Dwarf Fortress and things. But when you're 2 generations behind your competitors, that's a huge problem, and I don't want to award that kind of thinking. It's not a good idea to do this. On the other hand, with the other 2 consoles, we're looking at 2 consoles that are pretty much on the exact same tech scale this time. Last generation, obviously, the PS3 had a lot more had a lot better tech than the Xbox 360 did. But it's not the case this time. Both consoles are on the exact same playing field, pretty much. They're both Blu-ray this time. They both have 8 gigs of RAM. I'm not sure what the other specs that they have are, but they're pretty much the same console, and the only difference is Xbox is going to make you have the Kinect, and PlayStation isn't going to make you have the PSI. And the Microsoft's charging $100 for the Kinect, basically. So it makes it a very difficult deal for someone to want the Xbox, because no one likes the Kinect anyway, and who's gonna pay $100 more to have the Kinect? This is the way I see it. But yeah, both the Xbox and the Wii have another problem that I don't think many people take into account. When you get these motion sensor consoles, you have to have a ton of space to operate them. What if you want your console in your room? If you have a small room, it's not going to be possible. And that's a complete deal breaker for me, because I don't want my little brothers to be messing with my console. They did that to my last console, and it was what killed my 360. It's nearly killed my Wii. I want to keep my console in my room, so that kills both consoles for me. And now that Microsoft released the information that they're going to not do the DRM thing anymore and the stuff like that, we're basically looking at the exact same console, because like I said, they both have the same technology this time, and one's $100 cheaper and doesn't have the useless thing that no one wants on it. So even with their announcement, Microsoft's not going to recover from this. I think they're pretty much going to be in the same boat Sony was in the last generation. They're going to be losing money at first for a couple of years, and then eventually they might recover. But I don't think that will hurt them too bad, because I don't think any of the consoles are going to do well. The Wii U's already not doing well. The Xbox isn't doing well. The PlayStation's the only one that could do well at this point, and I'm not even sure how well it'll do. And here's the reasoning behind this. The exclusives are what makes a console important, and exclusives have been dying out rapidly. I don't know if anyone was watching the Sony conference online, but it was amusing because at first everyone was hating on the console. They were hating the PS4. They compared it to the Xbox. It pretty much looks like an Xbox that's just slanted. But suddenly when they announced Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 15, everything was suddenly forgiven. Everyone was claiming that Sony won the war. That's not the case. Those games are multi-console now. Square Enix, I think, are the developers of those games, and they're a multi-console gaming company now. So I don't know what people are thinking, that Sony's won this war. Their exclusives aren't exclusives anymore. All they have is that new game that's going to come out, that steampunk shooter that we didn't even get a video of. We just got the gameplay. We only got a cinematic of it, uh, that was a lot of the thing that people were complaining about at first until the new games were Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 15 were announced. Was all they were showing was cinematics, not actual games. And they were also doing the same thing that Xbox was doing that everyone was upset about, which was TV and sports and TV. So they're not doing much better than Microsoft when you really look at it. People were just very eager to jump on their boat because of how much Microsoft pissed them off, but they're not doing any better. The only other exclusive they got is Killzone. I'm not sure if that'll even help them very much with how popular Call of Duty is at this point. Even though Call of Duty's multi-console, I'm pretty sure that it has a much larger following on the Xbox than it does on the PlayStation. I think that won't really give them an edge. I don't think Killzone will help them out. And as for Xbox, it has two very overused exclusives at this point, with Halo and Gears of War. I think both of them are on their last legs at this point. Halo 4 I did not enjoy at all. 343 Studios I don't think has what it takes to make the Halo games. I tried playing it, and it's just not the same as the old ones. It doesn't live up to Halo. And while the loyal Microsoft fans might still get the game, I don't think it's gonna last very much longer as a series, especially if they really do this TV series and the TV series flops like it most likely will, because adaptations of games to movies or television have never worked out very well. I think that's going to spell the end of the Halo series. Gears of War, I think, is about on the same boat. I think they've played that out about as long as they can. I'm not really sure how they can extend the plot line anymore. They already cut out the main characters from the game with the last edition of it. And I don't think that's going to help them out very much either. The only console that has the good exclusives is the Nintendo now, which is why I still think that they need to jump out of making consoles and just get into building software. And it worked for Sega. Sega's still alive, even though it's not making consoles. And they should probably do the same. But my opinion is I'm just gonna keep upgrading my PC. Already my PC is more than twice as powerful as the new consoles are gonna be. And if I just keep getting some new parts every year, then I'll be staying well ahead of the curve of gaming. And won't have to dish out money for a console. But I think that pretty much covers everything. Oh, Valve. I think Valve really needs to step up its game. You may have heard about the Piston is going to be Valve's console. The thing is, they're just having third parties develop it, and the third parties are charging a ton of money for it. I really think that Valve needs to officially back the Piston. It needs to give it everything it's got, because if it has a chance to move in and get some customers, it's going to be this generation of consoles. Because like I said, none of them are going to do well. And this would be their chance to move in. But they're just staying out of it. And I think that's a very bad decision. A Valve console could be extremely interesting, because it would likely be the first console that's going to have multi-platform, multiplayer games, which everyone's always dreamed of, having console players fight against PC players online. I think that'd be very possible with the Piston. and very likely. But if they don't back the console, that's not going to happen. And it doesn't look like they're going to back the console with as much force as they need to. Really, I think the way it should go. I don't think it will happen, but the way things should go is Nintendo should back out of being a console-making company and just start making games as a third party, and then Valve should take up the slack of the power vacuum that creates. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think everyone's a little bit too stubborn, and that's not gonna happen. But we'll see. Maybe it will. But oh, I died already. But I think that about covers it. I may record more of this, just this death run, if there's much time left. Let me see here. 12 minutes, that's probably too long. I'll probably make this video too long if I stayed for 12 minutes. So, I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, this is just an opinion segment. This isn't based on fact. It's just based on what I've heard and things like that. It's just my best guess of what might happen and what should happen. If I was someone who has to get a console, it'd probably be Sony at this point, because I've lost all faith in Microsoft at this point, and I really don't like the idea of getting a console that's barely HD capable. This seems silly. And plus, I don't have room to set up a motion control in my room. I don't think motion control's the future. We keep thinking it is, and then it always does not work out. Maybe Oculus Rift will finally bring us to the future of gaming controls, but I don't know. So, I hope you all have a good day.